Happy epic rainy Saturday. It is going to be a long one. Yep, it's that day. Been dreading it for a while. It's going to be a long one. Roll that intro. Welcome to the epic journey. I am your epic host, Clinton Parton. If you're just now joining us for the first time, welcome. Today is going to be a rather long, wet, and cold episode. Actually going to be rebuilding the front end of that beast you just saw in the intro there. New brakes, new rotors, new hub bearings, new axles. So basically everything from the center chunk all the way out. It's going to be a good one. Going to have to stop, make a couple of drops. Got to go to get some loaner tools from the local part house. So stick along for the ride. Like I said, it's going to be a long one. All right, we finally made it in the car. It's about 9:45. As you can tell, it is raining. It is about 39 degrees. And we're rolling to the parts store to pick up the tools that I need. Now we're going to go through a complete parts list and tool list that I'm going to be using, just to kind of let you know what you need to make this thing go as smoothly as possible. Welcome to an epic wrench day. We're fixing to get started on this thing. We're going to line up the tools. I'm going to show you what tools I'm going to be using, and we'll get it going. All right. Me and Marc was out here just discussing, he just went on a fantastic trip with his bride to celebrate their 14th wedding anniversary. And they were in Pigeon Forge and Tanger Outlet. And one of the things that men run into is they got a fantastic tool assortments. Everywhere you go in there is a tool store of some kind. Well, he found a fantastic deal on tools. And what did she tell you?
She said, "Are you going to use all those?" So, every time.
How many feet do you women have? How many pairs of shoes? Do you wear them all? Eventually, yes. Do we use the tools every time? Wait till you see what we're about to get into. I had to go rent tools to finish this job. If I'd have had them, if I'd have had the ability to buy them, I wouldn't have had to go rent them. But this is what we got to use today. We have a tool set I had to rent. Those take off the huge axle nuts, screwdrivers, impact wrench nuts, jack stands. Very, very important. I don't care what kind of job you're doing. If it's on the ground and you raise a car up, you must have jack stands. They're not very expensive. Those definitely weren't. They're 3-ton. They'll do what we need to do today. Good tool set. And what I mean by a good tool set, one with a lifetime warranty. Don't go to Walmart and buy a Japanese made tool set or a Chinese made tool set, especially now that we're all against China. But don't buy a Chinese tool set that's going to break the next time you use it. You get one use out of it, you throw it away, you got to go buy another one. Go invest in a good set of tools. It's well worth it. 3-ton jack and my air tools. Now, I went out and bought the air tools and an air compressor. Not everybody has those. You don't have to have those, but it helps. All right, we're going to get this car jacked up. We're going to start tearing stuff apart. Now where he's jacking up is on the frame of the truck. You must find a secure spot in which to jack your vehicle up, because if you put it in the wrong spot, nothing goes right. Everything bends, everything breaks. It is no bueno. Now, for some of us folks that are a little more fluffy and we're still in the process of losing weight, we're going to get this thing up as high as we possibly can. Alright, down we go. There's one. Let's get the other side. Go a little forward there, so I mean, you won't go at me. Yeah, that worked. And teamwork makes the dream work. All right, we're gonna get this bad boy started. We're actually gonna start on the driver's side. That is the worst side. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but that nice big groove cut in right there. If you're watching this epic video while you're driving, turn it down. Listen to your car, because we're jamming out. My kids drive. I got, like you saw in the other video, I've got 3 children that are driving age right now. And they don't turn the music down long enough to listen to actually what's going on in the vehicle. Best advice I can give you, turn the epic video down just a little bit and try to find out, see what your brakes are doing, what tick's going on. You may learn a lot, save yourself a ton of cash. All right, now that we got the air compressor shut off and everything all laid out now, we're going to go over exactly what we're doing. Brake pads, brake rotors, wheel bearings, and axles. I'm going to try to throw all that on there today. So first off, we're going to get started. We're going to start dismantling this left-hand side. Some things I did off camera. I went ahead and took the cap off the brake. So whenever we do the brakes and we press the fluid back up in there, there's no resistance from the cap stopping the fluid from flowing back up into the master cylinder. Let's get rolling. Make sure you always have a seat. Okay. I don't know what size this axle nut is. Now this right here is the axle nut. This actually holds the nut that goes all the way through the axle that holds this onto the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and try to loosen that, because if I need to, Marc can jump in there and hold the brake to keep this from turning like it is now. I'm going to try to do it with the impact, but sometimes the impact just isn't enough. 36 it is, 36 millimeter. Look at the size of that. Like I said, this may be a little much for the impact, but we're going to try it anyway. Very nice. Washer and bearing. See how it's moving? That means it's loose in there. It's not going to be too hard to take that out. Alright, now for the fun stuff. Take these 2 nuts out. Take these 2 nuts out. And that should be a 15 and a 17. One thing that I definitely like to use, and if you don't have them, is a set of spinny wrenches. What I mean by the spinny wrenches is they ratchet. Depending on which way you turn them, they tighten or they loosen. And then you have to pry this off gently like. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this disclaimer in there. I am ASC certified in brakes, or I had been. I have not taken the test in a while. I am ASC certified in a few things, but right now I'm just a backyard wrench turner. So please, you know, consult a true professional if you're going to try to do this yourself. I feel very confident in my abilities, that I think it will, that my family's life and everything are well within my realm of keeping safe at this point in time. So now why is that not coming off, I couldn't tell you, but I'm going to try to compress those caliper back in there and hopefully it'll slide off. And it's not going to. Now, one tool I didn't show you that I'm going to have to use is a pry bar. I don't remember who one of those smart guys was back long ago that says if you give me a big enough lever I can move the world. I believe that to be 100% true, because with enough leverage, anything should pop loose. Man, that is stuck. Now you don't want that to just hang down, because that's just a rubber hose right there that actually loads brake fluid into your caliper. So you don't want that just to hang, because putting weight on that does tear stuff up. And these brake pads are good. What has broken is the indicator. So these little indicators here, they are what are called squeal marks. And that is actually what has gone bad. The brake pad has not gone bad. As you can see that line right there, that indicator, there's still quite a bit of pad left there. So very nice. But while I'm in here, might as well replace them anyway. Yep, see, quite a bit of pad left there. They were wearing quite evenly. You know, one's wearing a little more than the other. It's a little more thin, but brakes are in good shape. But if you look right here, this groove cut in there, can't have that. All right, now we take this bolt here off, which will remove this. Right here, this brake, the caliper bracket is not getting out of the way of this. Turn it the other way, other way, other way. About to turn that way. Keep going. All right, I think I screwed up. I think I run into a problem. What had happened is that this had it pinched, so it wouldn't allow it to move over, so it wouldn't move out far enough to get this bolt out. Now that I've released the bottom one, the top one comes right out. And that is your bracket. All right, now we got the brakes loose. Let's take this wheel bearing off. I think that's an 18 also. It is. There's one. There's two. Now this one up here, of course, is going to be the hard one to get to. I'm not going to be able to reach it that way. Fun. Alright. Need several long extensions. Alright. Break out the next tool. Again, like I said, you don't have to have these tools, but it does help. Now, the great motivator. There, the wheel bearing is out. Now this wire you see right here that is holding this thing together, that is the anti-lock brake cable. I'm gonna need a 10mm to get this loose and to unhook right there, and that should just pull loose and we should be good to go. It's got a little holder nut there. Feed it back through here. Feed it back around here. And we have one wheel bearing out. We now have to take that part right there loose from the axle, or loose from the differential, and then we put it back together. Not too bad. Upon close examination of the axle itself, I think this thing is just going to pop out with a little bit of positive reinforcement out of the axles or out of the differential housing, and then we'll just slide the new one in. Let's give it a shot. Yep, as easy as that. It's loose, but we'll get it out. It's not going to compress enough, so I think I'm going to take this here off, and I really don't want to because these are ball joints. But yeah, I really don't want to take that off. Alright, we're going to cut for just a minute, but I'm going to take that loose and take this piece off, and hopefully that'll slide right out. Once I get it off, we'll come back and I'll show you what I did. But we got to take this Carter pin out, pair of needle nose pliers, slide that out, take that other one off, and then we'll just drop the whole piece out and we should be done. Alright, be back in just a second. After beating this ball joint and this ball joint loose from this, it finally came out. There it is. That's for this side. What's really nuts, see this little ring right here? It really is just a small little compression C-ring. It's not even all the way around it. That is all that holds that axle in place. Just to let you know what's holding you in and what's holding you up when you're going down the road at 100 miles an hour in a 3-ton machine. All right, the battery's about to die. We're going to go down in here and I'm going to slide this axle in to the hole. You'll have to get down here really close. Find it. It goes in there a certain way. Where we left off was I was trying to get this thing lined up and straight and get it slid in there. Did you hear that pop? Look up under there, make sure it's good and flush. Right down there. There you go. See how it's good and flush in there? No flat, no gaps. We're in. Pretty hard. But as you can see what all I've gone through, you see why your mechanic charges you $95 an hour to do this. And they get to do it on a nice lift in a warm bay when it's not raining, and as you can tell, the ground's soaking wet. So, but it's time to go back together, and we're not going to record the other side because it's just going to be more of the same, but you'll see how this goes back together. All right, now the trick is to get this back through this hole and get these two lined back up. Now what we're having to do is this is a double wishbone system. The top moves at the same time the bottom moves, and they move in joints. Well, when this one dropped, it dropped too far for me to hook this one back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to jack the bottom one up to meet the top. Now you see how this is moving and it's coming up to meet the top. See how it's moving right over the top? Now we don't want to raise the whole truck, keep going, off of the jack stand, which we're not doing. We're just moving it in here enough so we can get that on there. And now that we got it up there, castle nut. Alright, that's good and tight. Let's finish tightening this down. Alright, now that I got that tight, I have no idea where the quarter pin hole is. I think that's it. Alright, that one's in. Time for the wheel bearing. Now once a wheel bearing is placed, it'll build a memory on the way that it goes. So you can't pull one off. This is why I don't recommend getting used ones, because you can't pull a wheel bearing off of a right hand side and put it on the left. The bearings do build up a memory. And when you replace wheel bearings, you want to do both at the same time, because they do wear. This wire goes through this cutout. Now again, this is your ABS speed sensor. Very important that you get that put back in and it doesn't get pinched or cut. Now you want to be very careful this thing doesn't go in crooked, because it can tear some stuff up. So you want to alternate back and forth between the two you can get to. Where'd that big nut driver go?
Should be over
here. Real big one. I'm going to try to drive this axle up in there so it may go on a little straighter. It feels like that back's going on a little tight, and I definitely do not want to strip out what's back there. If it's not going the way you want it to, do not force it. All right, guys, I'm back. Big struggle. We had to do this like you do a pattern on a wheel on a car. You got to do here, 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 here. And to do that, we had to tighten this one, turn the wheel, tighten this one, turn the wheel back, tighten this one. So bam, 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 all the way around. Well, it's finally tight. It's finally on there. We got everything situated. You can see we got the nuts all sent back down on the thing. I don't know if Marc can see it. But right there, got the nut on. It's all ready to go. Well, like I showed you earlier in the video, what actually failed was not the brake pad. It was actually the brake hardware. So just like with anything, you got to have a parts house close by. So we got to make a trip to the parts house. I got to get new grease for the differential where it leaked out, and I got to get that new hardware to go back on there. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll turn it back on and finish this up on this side, and then we'll start the other side. We're trying to make it epic. All right, quick update where we're at. The original axles that I got were too big, so I went and got the new ones. We're putting the new ones in now. Along with that, while we were gone, we let the compressor run to try to get it filled up so we wouldn't have to try to tape over it. When I got back, we found out that the compressor was still running. We were gone over 30 minutes. Well, got back. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that right there. See that nice big old crack right there? That's the aluminum piece that runs from the compressor to the tank. It split while we were gone. So now we've got to finish the rest of this by hand. Okay, we're going to shoot a few more frames, hopefully get this thing back together, because I think we got the right axle now. So we're going to put it back together. Hopefully get it done today. You know, something that should have taken maximum about 4 hours is now into hour number 5. Welcome to epic days of turning wrenches. All right, now after all of that, we got it back to where we were whenever we cut. And it is turning, it is moving. It does seem like everything is in where it's supposed to be. The only thing that I think I messed up on was the brakes were supposed to go over this, not under. So I got to take it back apart. To get the brakes right. Because I don't want to bleed the brakes. So I got to take it all back apart. All right, guys, we're back. We finally got it put together for the 3rd time. Now, some of you guys might not have known. I know Marc knows. I've been doing this trying to battle a kidney stone. I'm hurting. And after 3 times of taking this thing apart and putting it back together, I can't really do much more. Marc going to finish up this side. We're going to do the brakes. I'm going to go in and sit down and rest, take some ibuprofen or something to get out of pain. But we actually going to get this side done. I showed you my air compressor broke. My son's trying to locate us another air compressor so we can actually finish the other side tomorrow. I know it's Sunday. And I know that whenever they say when your ox is in a ditch, that's the only time you should work. Well, my ox is in a ditch. My son starts football tomorrow or on Monday, and we got to have 2 vehicles. So we're going to get the rest of this done, but the rest of this video is going to be Marc putting together my brakes. Yep. You know I usually hang it on the thing.
Right here.
Flip it over. And no, he's not putting it on backwards. It just makes it easier to clean if it's up there in front of your face than it is laying on the ground. All right, now you want to brake clean because this thing has a layer of stuff that keeps it from rusting. That's the reason new brakes are never rusty when they come out of the box, but they are when they sit on a car lot for a few days. So you got to get that Cosmoline, I think is the name of it, off. Now this stuff does melt the floor. That's why he has the or melts the paint on the floor. That's why he's put down the cardboard to kind of stop it from eating it up. Now he's going to take this old brake pad, and I didn't show you this tool earlier, but we have what's called a Caliper Compressor. It's right behind you next to the bike wheel. He's going to put this in that caliper, and he's going to compress those two pistons back in it. Now these are a little bit more heavier duty piston truck than what you see on most S10s. So it does have a 2 caliper system. Now you have to put the brake pad in there so it will actually push both pistons at the same time, because he's only going to be able to get it in one of those cutouts at a time. You'll see what I mean here in just a second. See how he's in that one cutout? But you see it's pressing that piston back down in there. Alright, he'll loosen it up. Do the other side because it is crooked. But of course that's expected, but it does help to have that brake pad in there to push them both in at the same time. Good. Yep, you're good. You're smushing it in there just fine. Now, as he's pushing that back in, what that does is pushes the brake fluid back up in there. You can kind of see that level rising. And as that level rises, that stops you from having to bleed your brakes, because you're not actually allowing air back into the system because you never open the system. Now he's back in there. They're pretty flat. Might be able to push it a little more, but you might not need the extra room. Now when we're doing this, we're putting a new hardware in it because the hardware is what failed, and that's what we're having to put back into it new now. Once you put the hardware on, you want to put just a little bit of lubrication on there so it will slide in the groove and return when you let off the brake, because it will bind and pinch if you don't have that on there. And I'm wiping that down with my finger to make sure that it gets really good and on there. best of us. See how it slid? Now, see how it slid right in there? That's how it should have went. All right, now these will be the things that hold the caliper on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lube these up, because these are the caliper bolts. He's going to go ahead and set the caliper up there, get it set and ready to go on. Lube the first one up. Gonna lube the second one up. And a shot. And that, everybody, to do both sides of everything that we just completed on one side is somewhere around $1,000 to have that done by a professional. Now, like I said, I am ASC certified in brakes. I've turned wrenches for a while. I was a service manager for a major chain. Was over 4 of their stores and had a good time learning. They taught me, they let me get my ASC certification in air conditioning and brakes, in electrical. I still can't do electrical on cars. That's just something that's above me, but I know how to do it. I'm just not very good at it. But this kind of thing, you know, if you don't know how to do something and you want to try it out. I do have to warn you though, that this right here puts people's lives in danger. And it can, you know, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't feel comfortable in it, please take it to a professional. Like I said, I've done it for a long time. I know how to do it. DIYers, great way to learn how to do stuff. There is one more thing I do want to show you. I like to use the local quick lube places, just simply because I like the fact that they change my oil and I can go back and I don't have to worry about disposing of hazardous materials. So this will probably be just a quick tutorial, because they wanted to charge me $30 to replace a light bulb. I'm just going to do this real quick just to show you what they wanted to charge me $30 to do. And if you don't know how to change a light bulb, this is actually a tail light. If you don't know how to change a tail light or a light bulb, take the time to learn how to do it. It's not real hard. But this is just 2 Phillips head screws. And it just slides straight out. You twist the bulb here. And you twist this one out. Just give it a gentle pull. You put it back in the hole. And you lock it in. Same with this one. Lock it in. Slide it back in. Tighten that screw down. And tighten that screw down. These were $3. They want to charge me $30 to do that. And like I said, I like using our local quick lubes, but that saved me $30. So again, if you're not making money, you can always save money. All right, guys, keep it epic. We'll see you on the next one. Guys, I'm not excited. I'm loving it. The reason I'm not screaming is I'm sure you can hear some people in the background talking, but I'm ready to punch the gas. Day 1, make it epic. Guys, we'll see you on the next leg. Keep the journey going.